Welcome to the Legacy Podcast, making our Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) more famous for action. The global gap in gender equality is the mistaken belief that this is a women's issue. At the Legacy Podcast, we are correcting this, letting you know that gender equality is a human rights issue and also an economic necessity. Imagine half the world's population is restricted from leading, earning, or learning. The entire system is literally operating on at 50% capacity. Sustainable Development Goal 5, Gender Equality, is about breaking the structural, legal, and social glass ceilings that prevent girls and women from reaching their full potential. I am your host, United Nations Mama, and I'm so glad you are here. Today's legacy will be to talk about the fifth sustainable development goal, the gender equality goal, for you to grab your knowledge, discover your role, and do your action. Here's the thing. Closing your awareness action gap in gender equality means that you are moving from talking about empowerment to dismantling barriers. This is about ensuring that a person's gender never determines their safety, their salary, or their status. On the Legacy Podcast, Legacy 7, United Nations Mama is going to be introducing the fifth Sustainable Development Goal, the Gender Equality Goal, not as a social favor done for women, but as a systemic upgrade for the entire human race. Imagine a bird trying to fly with one wing. It can struggle, it can spin in circles, and it can exert massive amounts of energy. But it will never reach the heights it was designed for. This is a world without gender equality. For centuries, we have been operating a global economy, a scientific community, and a political system using only half of our collective intelligence, half of our empathy, and half of our innovative potential. Because we have not been operating on gender equality. When you solve for Sustainable Development Goal 5, you inadvertently solve for almost every other goal. For example, Sustainable Development Goal 1, no poverty. See, putting money in the hands of women is the fastest way to lift families out of poverty, as women tend to reinvest 90% of their income back into their households. You can look at again Sustainable Development Goal 2, zero hunger. See, if a female farmer or if female farmers had the same access to tools and land as men, global hunger would drop by up to 150 million or more. You can also look at Sustainable Development Goal 4, the quality education. An educated mother is twice as likely to send her children to school, creating a lasting legacy of literacy. Your action priorities towards the gender equality goal often stems from the feeling that gender issues are too sensitive. And when we say action priorities, it means what is making you to not act towards achieving the gender equality goal, or to care less or be unconcerned. Is the feeling that the gender issues are too sensitive or too cultural to touch, or even too over-exaggerated. At the Legacy Podcast, we teach you to solve this by localizing the gender equality agenda. you can move the conversation away from abstract feminism towards functional fairness. It's about ensuring that this gender equality, which can or is the operating system of our society, doesn't have a glitch that automatically devalues someone based on their chromosomes. I know as we have come into this topic of gender equality, some people are already, for you, you're already starting to understand where we are going to or what it's all about. The way you are going to hear it today or you're hearing it today is going to be more than you have ever heard before. Like in this kind, I'm not sure you have ever heard it. In this legacy, we are not just going to be looking for representation, we are looking for a redesign. We are looking to move from a world designed for some to a world designed by all. Whether you're a man, woman, your role in this goal is to ensure that the full circle of human potential is finally closed. Let me tell you something that some of the countries in the world today, this modern world you are seeing today and living in, still have laws preventing women from working in specific industries or owning property. There is also this thing of this unconscious bias that makes also that can make you visualize a CEO as a man and a natural as a woman. I know this is not, you already know that this is what happens. The Legacy Podcast mission in this legacy, gender equality, is to give you action to solve the gender equality problem, starting from your home and moving it into your boardroom. So let's move ahead to the official targets created by the United Nations, breaking down the United Nations Global Blueprint for the gender equality. To help solve your action paralysis towards the gender equality, you must understand why the United Nations actually agreed on the goal, gender equality. What are the targets they are trying to reach, their aim, their purpose, their agenda? Targets 5.2 and 5.3 together is about ending violence and harmful practices. This is about eliminating all forms of violence against women and girls, including trafficking, sexual exploitation, and even ending child marriage and female genital mutilation. The simple meaning is that you cannot have equality if half the population lives in fear. Imagine a woman or a girl or a lady somewhere going through even one of these problems. They don't even need to go through two or more. Just one is enough to put that person in trauma of fear and not even wanting to become anything in life and just living and questioning life and all of that. Target 5.4 is about the value of unpaid care. That is recognizing and valuing unpaid care and domestic work through public services and infrastructures. The simple meaning is that women globally perform 3 times more more unpaid care work like cooking, cleaning, childcare than men. This invisible labor is a massive barrier to career growth. Equality means sharing the load. Women must not always every time be visioned and be left to do all the cooking, all the cleaning, all the child care. Men also should be involved. As a married man, you should sometimes help your wife in cooking, in cleaning, and in taking care of the children. You must not say, oh, I'm going to work every morning, go out for work, then you come back in the evening. Then even on weekends, you are less concerned. You are just busy even in your home office, doing a lot of things, and she's bearing all the burden. Do you think even her dreams will be achieved with all these um loads of work and care? In a home that is raising both boys and girls, boys also have to be taught how to help in the kitchen, how to help with the cooking, the cleaning, and taking care of their fellow siblings. This is actually one mistake that so many parents are making, whereby the girl child is only trained for this work, while the boy child is sent to the room to go and study or allowed to play game and so on. And while they are growing up, you watch them, they don't even know how to do anything. Even wash their clothes, they're always taking it to the dry cleaner. Cleaning looks like an abomination to them, to some of them. Or even taking care of someone it looks so difficult. So we have to make sure that these labors are shared among men and women. As a man, you should be able, as a growing young man, already grown, you should be able to let your ego down and take care of the women around you. Make sure that they are not being overloaded, overburdened. In any way you can, help. Target 5.5 is pointing to the leadership and decision making. This is about ensuring women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making in both political, economic, and public life. The simple meaning, this is the seat at the table. It means women shouldn't just be in the workforce. They should be in the boardroom, in the cabinet, in the decision-making tables. Women should be allowed to go into rooms of decisions. And watch how the world around there just revolves for good. One thing you should know, that women know how to make decisions. They have the potential, like they have the potential is building inside of them. But some organizations or some men or men leaders cannot let their ego down to choose women to be decision makers. They still see women as weaklings or people that should be at home taking care of their children or sons and daughters somewhere, or people that don't know what's up. Even if a woman don't know what's up, if you give her the view of what is up, you see that she'll make a better thing out of it. You will even be wow. But even if you think that they don't know what's up, it's also on your part as a man or as an organization leader to educate the women in your organization on how things are being done. give them the opportunity to lead, to make decisions, to say how things can go and come. Targets 5.A and 5.B is together talking about economic and reproductive rights. That is giving women equal rights to economic resources, ownership of land, and access to sexual and reproductive health. The simple meaning is for you to know that power follows the money. In many places, women cannot own land or even open a bank account. True equality requires financial sovereignty. Women should be allowed to own what a man can have. Women should be allowed to work in industries that a man can work. Women should be allowed to take the education that men can also take. This is not something that is far-fetched. This is something that you see almost every day happening. Even for some people taking engineering courses in some schools, you notice that if you look at your class or your lecture hall, the girls are few. Maybe imagine in a whole university in a particular engineering course, 99% are women, only 1% are men, only 1% are women. Maybe just be having about 5 to 6 girls over 40 boys. It's very bad. That is already gender inequality playing in that field, whatever field it is. And this is just in education. Now imagine when you now go into the industry itself and see the thing that is happening there. One of the worst things about this scenario about gender inequality is that women are not even saying they can't do it. Women are not even saying we don't want. They are saying we want, we can do it. But they are restricted from saying that thing that they want and that thing that they are saying that they can do. That is an issue of human rights. You are not hearing women saying anything, oh, we don't want the man's job. In that industry, that woman that have read through that course is seeing so many things that men are doing in the industry are saying I can do it. I can be in that boardroom. I can make decisions. I can even work the field work. But the industry itself, for the gender inequality atmosphere already reigning there, is saying no, we're not going to let it. It's only for men. This is where the problem comes in. So we have to rethink our ways and make every opportunity available to men as it is to a man. Discover your role, why it should matter to you, this gender equality talk. For the tech founder, research has shown that diverse teams are 20% more likely to have above average profitability with gender equality. Gender equality is your competitive advantage. Even before you even launch your dream or your organization or your company, don't start rejecting who to do and who not to do. Try both ways. Try both the male, both the female in every section of the company. But if you are a fashion student, 80% of garment workers globally are women. But most factory owners are men. Your role is to advocate for supply chain justice, ensuring that the women making your designs are paid a living wage. For the corporate leader, implementing equal pay for equal work. isn't just a policy, it is a talent retention strategy. If you don't pay fairly, your best talent will leave for someone who does, whether they're male or a female. So, even for the father or brother, your role is to model the sharing of domestic duties and to call out discussions about women or this gender equality problem. Teach your son um the lessons or the words that countering the actions or the situations or scenarios that demeans women or look down on women. So they are trained or brought up in the way that wherever they are, wherever they go, they will respect the women around them and they will see them as a valuable asset, not a tool. Our case study for today in gender equality is what we call or what is called the mobile money revolution in Kenya and Tanzania. What was the problem? Rural women often lacked the collateral, that is land or property, to open traditional bank accounts, leaving them without financial independence and more vulnerable to poverty. What was the solution? The rise of a particular mobile banking that allowed women to bypass traditional banks. It gave them a secure place to store money, receive payments for their crops, and start small businesses. What was the result? One, economic growth. It was estimated that mobile money helped lift 2% of Kenyan households out of poverty, with the impact being significantly higher in female-headed households. There was also a power shift. Women gained bargaining power within their homes because they had control over their own finances. Your lesson to take from this case study is to know that technology can be the great equalizer when it targets a specific gender barrier. Now, your lesson also should be that in any way possible, we should avoid what could bring down the confidence of any gender. In most homes, women are not confident about their opinions on things, on family issues, or ways the household should be run because they seem not to be the one providing the financial means. But just imagine a case or a situation where the woman is earning almost equal to what the man is earning, have a good job. She would have respect for her husband, but also her confidence to be retained, to be able to say her own part of the story, to be able to say her own part of what she thinks should be done, and also be able to lead the world outside her home. So we should not block the flows of that allows women to own their own finances. Some of the case studies we have been taking on the Legacy podcast since it began may be old or may seem like old records, but these are very important. These are actions that will be game changers for a nation, a community, or a group of people. So whether it's old or new or whether it's recent or outdated, actions are actions. As long as it impacted a life, it is worth talking about anytime, anywhere. Come on, let's move over to your actions towards ending the gender inequality and achieving gender equality. The simple actions you can start to take from today onwards. You can check your bias. Reflect on one time you assumed a woman couldn't do a man's job or a man couldn't do a woman's job, and correct it. Start disbelieving that mentality. You can start to speak up if you hear a sexist joke. Say, I don't get it. Why is that funny? Don't laugh into it. Don't even laugh to belong. Stand where you start, or stand in your new stance. Gender equality. For gender equality to happen everywhere and anywhere around the world, and in whatsoever organization, company, initiative, or industry. You can also audit your feed. Follow 5 female leaders in your professional field. You must not be focused on only the male leaders, their achievements, how they got there. No, also follow women, hear women speak, hear their own opinion, their own experiences and advices. You can also choose a female mentor. Don't always look out for the male. And even if you whether you are even a female, don't always look at the female. You can discern rightly and also choose a male mentor. Share the load. If you live with others, do want to domestic tasks you usually leave to a woman, or usually leave to your sisters or the ladies around you. Try doing that their part, or try to exchange roles with them. Also, in a meeting, if a woman's idea is ignored, you notice that in a meeting or in a gathering, you can stand up to say, I think, then add her name or point out to her that she had a great point. So that should be looked into. Don't be clapping hands or nodding hands to the end of the meeting that you notice that almost all the points that females made were ignored or were just put aside. So you should stand up and speak towards that. You can also language check. Avoid using this may be a little funny, but avoid using man as the default for humanity. Let me say there are some terms that you are forced to use, add men to it or man to it, when you know that, let me say in an industry, human is also doing that. Let me say a firefighter, instead you tend to use fireman or fireman. You can use a firefighter which adds both the human and men in the scenario. And so many other countless examples. So whenever it wants to come out of your mouth, because it's already almost an unconscious rule everywhere, where everyone has fallen into that trick one way or the other, we can start to correct our words before it comes out, or before it becomes part of us. You can also support female creators. Buy a book or a movie or an art piece that was created by a woman today, that was directed by a woman, written by a woman. Don't see because, oh, the creator is a woman, you just neglect it. So what is this all about now? You don't even care to look into it. You can also ask, don't assume, ask a female colleague about her career goals or her dreams, instead of maybe assuming in her career she only wants work and life balance. There are so many other dreams and aspirations that humans have, or they are even motivated to do. But if their working environment or their social environment limits them from, or discourages them from coming close to the men and negotiating or collaborating or even acting like what they feel on the inside, is very bad. So you can make a conscious effort um make yourself a peaceful atmosphere for them to express their dreams and ambitions, or your organization that allows them to grow in every way and shine. Just explore the humanhood in them and their potential. You can also spend some minutes from today onwards giving feedback to a female junior or a student. Um, you can also look up research about the gender pay gap in your specific industry or country and start to think of ways to fill in that or to advocate for a change. Advocacy is very important. If no one stands up for what is right, what is good, making out their time to tell others about it and to also act it is going to be a very, very terrible word. Don't assume that people know. The origin of the Legacy podcast is zero assumptions that or almost zero assumptions that people know about this goal or that people are acting it. We're adding everyone, irrespective of who they are, where they are, or what they can be, that they should know this goal and they should know that they can achieve it even through their simple household habits. You can also, if you see a woman be harassed in public or in workplace, start to intervene. You can also start to delegate tasks that brings her, if a leader that brings her out of that harassment or motivation, or to even look into the matter most importantly and deal with it. You can also start to talk about that scenario to people that can help. Try self-education. Read the definition of intersectional feminism or articles or writings behind this kind of gender equality and inequality talks. You can also start to discuss a fair play roster for household chores, whether you're a female or a male. Don't allow, don't let, as a parent, yes, don't um do the male work. This is the male world, this is the female world, and that is or nobody interchanges, nobody learns the other way around. No. And even as a male child or a female child, try to reach out to your parents or communicate to them that there is a need for exchange of work in the household. You can also try to, oh my God, always congratulate a woman in your life on a professional achievement or a personal milestone and so on. Make a conscious effort also not to interrupt women when they are speaking. When a woman is speaking, lay down your ego and listen to her. Then when she's done, you can add your input or whatever you may want to do. But make it a conscious effort to learn not to interrupt them. They are not talking nonsense. They are talking sense. It's just that you have just, as a man, you may have just refused to learn or listen. Ensure a female teammate gets the public credit for her work on a project or whatever you guys did together. You can also buy your lunch from a woman-owned business. Support women in the small ways that they are starting up or they are reaching out to you. Also ask a woman in your life about her experience with gender bias and just listen to what she has to say. Women always have a lot, just that they are looking for who to listen or environments that allows them to be themselves. You can start to update your personal rules of engagement not to ever tolerate harassment. If you have children, ensure they see you doing the non-stereotypical roles. You can start to donate some of your income or earnings to foundations, organizations, such startups that support women, any well-being that concerns them. You can start to share a story of a female scientist or engineer or a change maker or a leader, female leaders on social media. Start to celebrate them, broadcast them, be happy, excited, and literally interested in what they did, how they did it, and how it came to achieve, how they came to achieve it. If a man celebrates woman's achievement, if a woman celebrates men's achievement, women don't even have a problem most times in this scenario. They tend to celebrate both their gender and their opposite gender, the male. But male always have a problem with celebrating. Some males always have problems celebrating women, seeing women's achievement as something. If you're a CEO, look into your company or your workplace to check if your pay have the gender pay gap. Maybe women are being paid a certain amount while men are being paid higher. You can start sponsorship, formally sponsor a woman for a promotion or a new project, a new startup, or a new business. You can also start to ensure that at least 50% of the candidates you interview for a role are women. You you must not leave the percentage 80% men or even 90% men. The women are a low number in your organization or in your company. And you must not leave women at a high range than men at a low range. Let's learn to employ them equally. You can't tell me that job that you are leaving men at a high rate or you're leaving a woman at a high rate. A man is not somewhere willing and ready to do it. You can, if you employ a domestic worker, someone like a cleaner or a nanny, ensure you are paying them a fair legal wage. Don't look down on any job, any work. Offer your professional skills to NGOs that support human rights, gender equality, and the likes of it. Education, you can also help in educational support a girl's school fees for a term or a semester or a year, however you can, or recommend her or those set of girls to someone who can. Help a woman in your life set up an investment account, set up a business or a startup. Just anything, help a woman in your life. Don't always help men and feel that, oh, that's where the return will come from. My fellow man is there to help me in my time of need. Then you look down on women that, oh, it's going to be a liability. They're going to end up doing whatever they want. Just make it a habit of helping a woman in your life. Whether you are going to receive the return back or not in any way. And don't be the someone that asks for pleasure before you help. That's a total story topic for another day. Health advocacy support organizations providing something like menstrual health hygiene or products to schools. Review your company's sexual harassment policy. Is it clear and is it enforced? Don't just have a policy that is not enforced, that is not looked into, that is not reviewed, and things are happening in that your organization, in that your company that is towards contempt and just irritating to anyone that can ever hear about it. No, ensure you have those policies, make those policies and enforce them. If you have to create a different task force that looks into it, harassment, whether men or women harassment, your organization, perfect. You can, if you're a man, take your full paternity leave to normalize care work. You know, every time women are taking maternity leave, a man, you can also take paternity leave in your workplace. Try to leave some time and go home and take care of your wife, especially when she have put to bed. Just be there. Don't leave women all alone in that birth phase or training children. But when you want to come to the bedroom or whatever, you feel on top of the world. But when they're already carrying that baby and giving birth to it, you feel less concerned. It's very bad. And this is one of the things that is normalized in our generation of today. You can um, donate to clinics that provide essential health care for women and men. Invite female colleagues to informal networking events like golf or footballs and all of that. Teach concepts. Talk to young people in your life about boundaries and concepts and the importance of keeping to the actions of gender equality, not inequality. So also talk openly about your salary to help women negotiate better. Salary transparency. Don't lie about what you earn. Be truthful about it to them in any scenario possible. That will help them in any way. If you build products or designs or whatever you build, gas safety, ensure they are also tested for female users. Don't just test for male users and assume that a woman should not near those products or assume that, oh, they'll be taught somewhere, stuff like that. You can also start to learn about women who were raised from your professional history. Maybe that your particular industry or work, there are histories of people who have thrived and people who were ignored. Most times women are always ignored where their work, their contribution were covered or not looked into or were not celebrated or stolen from them and owned by another person. You can also join advocates for work from home options to support parents, attend a women's football, basketball, tennis match, be interested, be genuinely interested, report any online or offline harassment immediately in any way you can. Whether you're a student at school, at your workplace, report, point it out that you saw this, you're a witness or whatever. And if you are the victim, try to be outspoken about it so that the matter will be looked into and those harm will be avoided on other people. There are also changes that you can make for a long term that could really last. You can support global non-governmental organizations, lobby for 18 for as the legal age of marriage. Nobody should be married in less than 18 years. Some nations, some girls or females are marrying at 12, 11, 13, 14. They are not even in school, they're not doing it, they're just let out to their husband and so on. You can um You can also learn to invest in female founded startups. Don't always look at who is the owner of the company. Is it a male or female? Once you hear it's a female, you turn around. You don't care anymore. Support laws that require 40 to 50% female representation on public boards or whatever rooms or decision makings or leadership roles. Or whatever organization or gathering. Advocate for government subsidized high quality childcare. Support organizations focused on girls education. Support movements that ensure women can legally own and inherit land. help a woman to run for local or national offices. They are capable. They have the knowledge. Women always, when they feel that they don't have the knowledge, they always go for that knowledge genuinely and actually get the knowledge and experience. Ensure your company does not buy from factories that exploit human or human labor. Yes, you can look into it, or maybe you have heard or you know, but you are less concerned. You just keep buying to make profit or keep partnering or collaborating with them for your profit. Advocate for policies that fix the pension gap caused by career breaks for care. Commit to mentoring one woman or a lady over 2 or 3 years. Ensure your office has a clean private room for nursing mothers, or even your churches, whatever organization, especially if it's a big one. Let there be a room set up, well ventilated or as needed, for women to go and nurse their babies or their children. Support programs that train women as plumbers, electricians, pilots, engineers, and so on, and remove the unconscious barrier that these roles are for men. You can also support fair trade brands that prioritize women's cooperative. Demand that your local schools teach the history of the human rights movement, or this sustainable development goal, gender equality, should be taught in every school and also in every home. Actions should be made. This is why the Legacy Podcast is here for you, and you are hearing this today. So you can make it a conscious effort to share this legacy with someone today, or talk about it. You can also make it a habit to start hosting gender equality seminars for your entire workforce, on your schools, to talk about it to other fellow students. Establish a permanent fund for victims of domestic violence in your city, or look into it. Are there victims of domestic violence, in this organization or in my community, and what can I do? Where can I make the change? Which button can I press? How can I help to stop this? Don't act less concerned. You can advocate or lobby for period products to be free in all public schools and prisons. This is very important. Some NGOs are doing their best to make sure they provide menstrual care products to girls in public school. We should start to advocate policies that actually make this happen, whether they are sponsored by government or private individuals. It's a very good one. You can start that. You can also write a biography or article about a female leader in your field, or if you're a writer, write something about female leaders or professionals, or even household workers, or let's say household wives. Just genuine, interesting stories that gets people reading and recognizing the female gender for good. You can also decide to start funding scholarships specifically aimed for women in a particular industry, whether science, engineering, math, agriculture, name it, law, and so on. And also for the males too. You can start to support movements to end genital mutilation, and so on. And so on. These are so many actions you can adopt or make it a part of your household habit or company habit to end the gender inequality. Your ultimate action should be to live your life as if gender is no barrier and work every day to make that true for everyone else. Your awareness action gap in gender equality closes the moment you realize that equality is not a zero-sum game. When women rise, humanity rises. When you dismantle the barriers for girls, we create a world that is safer, healthier, and more innovative for everyone. Remember, your awareness action gap is the space between you knowing this and you acting towards it. Most people are caught up in the knowing it. Some people are even caught up in the no knowledge. You don't have the knowledge of it, so they can't even do action. So if you know it, you should correct mentalities that stops you from taking action. At the Legacy Podcast, we believe or make you believe that gender equality is the heartbeat of a sustainable future. You cannot have a sustainable change or an impact without the full participation of the human race. We cannot be having only male participation in most percentage of companies, organizations, workforce, home around the world, and the rest of the small population of participation are females. How do we want to make the world work better like that? We have not even tried to unleash women's potentials, what they are full of, what they can do. We're already judging. The gender equality case is most severe for inequality case is most severe for women. That is why sometimes it seems like it's over exaggerated, but it's not over exaggerated. It's something that is happening everywhere. You cannot deny it. If you calm down, think or meditate on it, you see that it happens every day. In fact, you have seen it in so many scenarios that you are so seeing it that you're already used to seeing it and you don't think it's an issue that can ever be solved because it's literally in every environment, every school, every industry and so on. And women are the most affected. So don't be annoyed or discouraged when it's sometimes only pointed at women. They are the most affected and actually a top priority in this case. You now have your knowledge, you have now discovered your role. Now go out and do your action because this equality we are talking about is not a destination. It is the way we choose from today onwards to work together. Stay connected to the Legacy Podcast TL.